Hi, good evening. How you doing? You're all welcome to Flawps, and I'm really excited to have all of you up on board tonight. And it's a very exciting thing. So first of all, Flop Nights. First episode we're having for Flop Nights, and the idea basically is for us to be able to tell stories of failure, while at the end of the day also still saying how this applies to our lives, understanding that failure shouldn't be an anchor that basically pulls you to the ground, but actually should be something that propels you up to the next idea, because it's actually an opportunity for you to start something new. And so that's why today we're going to be having someone very important. We're going to be having Obinna, Ekezie, on Flop Nights tonight with us. I will just share a brief profile about Obinna, just so we all understand who's coming on board. I'll just share a few things about Obinna. So first of all, Obinna Ekezie is an ex-NBA player. He's an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Wakanow.com. As we all know, Wakanow.com is actually Africa's largest online travel portal. But before, I'll give a little backstory about Obinna. He left Nigeria for the United States in 1993. He started playing the sport of basketball about 18 years. In 1999, yes, he got signed in. He started playing for Vancouver Grizzlies then. He played NBA for about 5 teams in his entire career, about 6 teams actually. And he's played for 3 international teams. But somewhere along the line, around 2005, he got injured, and at that point there, he had to return back to Nigeria. He got injured, and he found out, that's where he found passion in travel. Of course, he discovered at that point that there was a pain point there that people were experiencing, which was, of course, people could not travel easily. And then he came up with an idea. But then there's a time gap which people do not really understand, because a lot of times we just see the end product, but you do not know what has actually gone down between getting injured, starting a business, and actually progressing. So we need to understand that he got injured in 2005, and then he retired in 2007. 2 years later, yes, around the World Cup that's in South Africa, 2010, he launched wakanow.com. Yes, through a series of aggressive business strategies. Yes, strong concentration on customer service. Now it's actually the largest online travel portal in Africa. But we need to understand a lot of things happened, and that's what Obinna is going to be sharing with us tonight as we learn from him, as we learn from Obinna tonight. So I'll say that's all the audience that you have. They're just a quick one. Let's just appreciate Obinna as he joins us. So I think Obinna, you can switch on your cam now, please, so I can have you on. So I can have you in. Oh, awesome! He's joined in. Hello, sir.
How are you guys?
Awesome. I'm doing very, very, very awesome. How's it going, sir?
Thank you. Thank God everything is good.
Nice to have you on board.
I was keeping safe, and thank you very much. Nice seeing you for sure. It's been a while, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
I think you gave a little. I heard you a little brief biography of myself.
okay.
Maybe a little bit of inaccuracy, a little bit. I actually returned to Nigeria in 2007, not 2005.
Okay. The audio is a little low, sir. A little low.
My audio?
Yes, now that's much better. Much better, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Well.
Much better.
Okay, good. So I said I returned to Nigeria in 2007, not 2005. And,
my error in that case then.
Yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. So let's try to understand, sir. So a whole lot has happened, and I can see between 2005, 2007, how was that injury time? Yes, I think. So let's just understand from when you found out that you were injured. Let's just understand. So what happened at that point?
So at that point, I was playing for the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
And I was having a very successful preseason, what we call preseason. So there's some games we play before the season actually starts, just to get chemistry with the team and get in better condition, get in better shape, and so I was having a very good preseason, and then all of a sudden I had an injury. I tore my ACL, which is a ligament in the knee. I went up in the air and somebody undercut me, and so I had to have surgery. And during, as a matter of fact, before then I played in Europe. I played in Serbia. Worked very hard during the summertime before the season started. So I was in tremendous shape. And I was really looking forward to having a very, very good season. And I was playing very well. I was leading the team in scoring and rebounding. And,
I think there's a... Okay, sorry, Obinna. I think your audio is still not clear. It's still not... Yes, I think it's more closer.
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yes, it's better now. But yeah, it's much better now.
Okay, so I think I stopped when... I was leading the team in scoring and rebounding, and then I had this injury. So at that point, after I had surgery, I had about 8 months of rehabilitation. So I had plenty of time to think about what I wanted to do post my career, because what really happened, what came to my mind was the vulnerability of an athlete. You can't really be sure about how long you're going to play and how injuries are going to affect you. So I was thinking about how I wanted to do stuff in back home in Nigeria. So I wanted to, my first initial plan was to help develop grassroots basketball in Nigeria. I wanted to develop like academy. So I grew up in Port Harcourt. So I'm down from Imo State. I grew up in Port Harcourt. So I bought, with my dad's help, I bought a huge piece of land in Port Harcourt at that time. I wanted to develop an academy. So that was the first thing that I was trying to do. But while I was rehabbing in Atlanta, I met a guy that was a software engineer, Nigerian guy. And can they hear me? I'm seeing people saying I can't hear. Can you hear me?
Well, I think I'm doing good now with the audio, I think.
Okay. So I met a guy in Atlanta that was a software engineer. So he was the one that kind of introduced me to the whole travel space. Um, and let me just see if I can turn on my own audio here. Where I'm seeing people still saying that, but my audio is at the max. So I don't know if it's me or the rest of the other guys. Um, so anyway, I'll keep going. So we had I met this guy, and then he was saying about travel, and then I was so excited because I actually studied mechanical engineering and business, and I've always had this business situation in my mind because my dad was a very successful entrepreneur, so I always wanted to be a businessman. So I got felt I was very very keen to see how we could develop like what at that point it was like a meta search platform in the US, like was then known as Kayak. Um, and then that didn't work out. You know, the guy was a little bit distracted. But I learned.
Okay, I think your headset is what's making your audio a little bit low.
Let me see if I can go off the headset. Let me see if
Yes,
I
I think.
Let me see if
I think that's because it's quite low. The audience
so,
is quite low.
Okay, can you guys hear me better now?
Better. Wow.
Okay,
Better now.
sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I met the guy, and then we started. Like I said, I was a little bit distracted. So, but I learned a lot about travel at that point. So when I returned to Nigeria in 2005, I was holding a basketball camp in Port Harcourt, and then I realized, trying to book a flight from here was very, very difficult. Trying to get an agent was, go online because I was used to using Expedia in the US, very easy. And so what I did was I started to look into the travel space because of the experience I had in the US wasn't successful, but I felt like, wow, Nigeria is just so virgin. We don't have any like an online travel company. There was nobody booking tickets online. So I said, wow, this is a massive opportunity. I need to explore, building something like it. But before then, at that time, what we call IATA today, International Air Travel, there was what they call a billing settlement platform.
Yeah.
That platform wasn't there. We could issue electronic tickets, so it wasn't yet in Nigeria. There was no way we could automate the issuance of tickets without that system. So what I did was when I went back to Atlanta, I said I want to start doing business in Nigeria. So I went and I said, we're going to do something like in content. So I was trying to deal with ESPN, CNN, doing the NBA to do what we call live scores. So, we came back to Nigeria. We're doing a lot of integration with the first company I did was by a mobile phone. So we worked with MTN, worked a lot of over. I think I came back in 2007, and for over a year we were working with MTN, trying to develop what we call message termination billing, which has been at that time if you bought content on your phone, they would charge you like a 1 month subscription and feed you content. But what we want to do at that time was that you subscribe, and then every time the content comes to you, like a live score, it charges you. So we didn't want to be charging people like a bulk sum, and so to help a subscription. And we sort of set that whole thing up, and then all of a sudden, after we set it up, the guys at MTN just kind of just shut us off. And that was it. And luckily, and this was around 2008, when I heard that IATA had come into Nigeria with a billing settlement plan. And so, my partner and I, which Ralph, when I decided, oh wow, let's go actually do what we wanted to do. So we now went back and focused on the travel business. So it took us about 2 years. Brought a whole engineering team from India, and we started to do market research and try to build something that made sense for Nigerian market, because it wasn't just copy and paste from a different market. So we tried to understand how the Nigerian market worked and the relationship with the airlines and all those kind of things. From when we started, most of the airlines, because we're not travel people, most of the airlines were giving us cold shoulders. So I would spend hours upon hours at airlines office trying to convince them that, hey, I was building something that was going to help the industry. And then Ralph was focused on the hotels. He was going around the country, signing up hotels, taking pictures. Very, very rudimentary work we were doing, because there was really no database of airlines or database of hotels in Nigeria at that time. So we had to build everything from scratch. So it took us about 2 years to do this.
Okay.
And we finally launched in 2010, and what you now know as Wakana. And luckily for us, the World Cup was held in South Africa, so I was happened to be at a conference in Washington, D.C., where the FIFA people were also presented. And I went on to them and said, listen, I'm doing something in Nigeria on online travel space. You have a partner in Nigeria for the World Cup? And they said, no, we were actually looking for a partner. And they gave a subscription, a licensing fee, which we paid, and we got the license. So that was a great period to launch Wakana. And so
Wow.
we leveraged the World Cup, and obviously people said, wondering who was Wakana. So with the World Cup, we sold packages and flights, hotels, so people got to go. We were able to move about 750 people with just a
Wow.
very, we only had about 12, I think almost 12 to 15 staff. So everybody was, working 24/7 just to accommodate all of this demand. And it was really successful for us. So it was upon that success that we now launched the travel platform, which is now the flight, hotel, booking engine, and everything. So people that say, wow, so these people can actually now book tickets, and that's how the thing now grew. And then we got our first investment from Tiger Global in 2010. And then all the ads and all the marketing and everything now started happening. The company started growing very, very quickly. So that's pretty much the story of how Wakana was born.
Wow, that's awesome. So that's the story. That's really good. A lot of times people, they don't really get the backstory now. So what we're doing at Flawp now is for us to let's analyze the backstory. So yes, you got investment there, Tiger Global. But before then, we want to understand, so how was it, the experience you had there, the failures that came along the way? Because I know for 2 years, it wasn't easy. You would have gone to a lot of places. There were some assumptions, business assumptions that were made that probably didn't pan out right. That's at the beginning stage. So we'll assess when you started, we'll talk about mid into the business, and then we'll just talk again and see across everything then, how did you bounce back from there? That's what we want to talk about. Let's go into that.
So I just told you a story about the business. So I started that business in the US in Atlanta. That failed.
Yes.
But I learned quite a bit about travel. So what I picked out from that experience was the knowledge I gained when it came to travel and technology and all that stuff. Now, that failed. It wasn't the right market. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right partner. So everything about business is about, do you have the right people you're working with? Do they share the same vision? Is it the right timing? Are you solving a particular issue? Do you have the right technology? A lot of different dynamics. Right now, you're building a solution to serve and address a particular problem that the market, a certain segment of the market is facing. And so at the time when I came back to Nigeria, so it wasn't the right time because the technology or the platform for us to build an online travel company was not yet here. So I had to go into a different business that we built, but because people in the company had their own personal plans and so that this could be a huge opportunity, they circumvented everything that we did, took what we built and went and formed their own companies, and I'm sure set up their own people to come and do the business with the network. So what I learned from that experience was you not rely on somebody else's platform. So let me tell you how the evolution of how those two experiences shaped my decision making when it came to technology. So because the first situation failed because it wasn't the right market, it wasn't the right partner. And then two, when I came back to Nigeria, we're leveraging on a platform owned by a mobile network. I decided that when we were going to build the technology for Wakana, although it was going to be very, very difficult, we had to build it from scratch. We had to own the technology. We were not going to buy or lease any technology from anybody. So that's why it took 2 years for us to build technology, because any day, what I learned from those two experiences was, one, choose the right partner. Two, make sure you own your own platform.
Okay.
And this happened because of the two failures that happened. So people always look at failure as, oh, wow, I failed. People laugh at you. And the biggest problem I found in Nigeria is that what I learned from, and maybe this is why it shaped my mentality, when I was in the US, while I was in the US, when I left Nigeria at the age of 18, it felt like a huge culture change for me, because in America or in the US, when you want to do something, most of the time people encourage you. They say, what do you really want to do? You want to be the best basketball player. Yes, you can actually be the best player, but this is what you need to do. You need to work hard. You need to do A, B, C, D. You need to wake up in the morning. So they give you a game plan. But what I find in Nigeria is that anytime you say you want to do something, they'll say, why? Why are you not going the same way everybody is going? So we are like a follow mentality. We like, everybody's going this particular direction. You should go this particular direction. Everybody wants to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, bro. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to go and develop a solution? So you always find this attitude of why should you dare? Why should you dare become someone that finds a solution? Because when we started Wakana, we're telling people what we're trying to do. You wouldn't even believe a lot of people that you see today who are top people in different top industries in Nigeria told us it wasn't going to work, especially those in the banking industry. Say, who's going to book ticket online? I had one guy from oil and gas say, who's going to buy ticket online? Why do you think Nigerians don't trust online platforms? Nigerians will never use their cars online. Everything negative. And I used to be like, why do you say this? This works in other parts. This works in America. Everybody, okay. Why is it that Nigerians don't feel comfortable using their card? Is it because you don't have proper security system? You don't have good customer service. They can't trust. If you want to call someone, they can't reach anyone, or you don't have. What are the reasons why Nigerians don't feel comfortable? Because there has to be those. If you can identify those reasons and provide the solutions, they will book online. And so that was my attitude. Is like all these issues, all these reasons you're giving to me why Nigeria, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. They're not going to do this. It's all rubbish, because in the day, the Nigerians have a certain, maybe they've had experience about fraud. Okay, why did they have experience about fraud? Or maybe somebody booked online and then they couldn't get the value of they didn't get the ticket. Or maybe they booked online and tried to call your call center, nobody picked up the phone. So I identified a situation where customer service was pretty much zero in Nigeria. Even the MTNs and the mobile service in 2007, they didn't even have customer service. And this was something that was very, very prominent in the United States. Any company you call in the United States and you call them the call center, you got what I call average to excellent customer service. So that was a huge part of our business plans that we were going to establish as our modus operandi, as our top deliverable is delivering customer service. Now, how do you find resources? Aside from the technology that we were building, how do you find people that even understood customer service?
Okay.
That was even null and void. People didn't even understand what customer service was because it wasn't a norm in Nigeria. We had to employ, what kind of people are you going to employ that are going to be able to fit into your customer service requirement, but also have the intelligence to be able to address a complicated product like travel, because people think that travel is easy, but it's actually a very complicated product, especially the flights and even the hotels. Understanding why, if someone wants to go to London you book a hotel for them, they want to stay in central London. Somebody that has not traveled before, doesn't understand anything about central London, you have to train the person to act like they know where central London is. You know what I mean? They have to sell the hotel like they actually been to the hotel. So this took years and years of training, and then us even having to establish a training school and try to use visuals and videos and all kinds of things to train people. So customer service was a huge part of what it was. So if you notice, till the time I managed Wakana to Lale, I was subscribed to the complaints email from Wakana because I wanted to see what customers were complaining about. And anytime customer complained, I would respond, or I would get someone to respond. And I made it clear to our customer that any customer, anytime of the night, anytime 24/7, they could reach me. And that gave confidence to people because people speak, people talk.
You just said something now. And that's the customer service part there. So with every complaint, how did you feel? Did you feel like you failed that person? Did you look at it?
Like, not necessarily. See, people, customers want one thing. Things happen. Especially if let's talk about travel. Say somebody booked a flight and the flight was scheduled to leave 12, usually international flights start leaving around 10, 11 p.m. at night and blah, blah, blah. And they get to the airport and the airline cancel the flight or delay the flight or whatever solution. Things happen. Now, from the customer, what they expect from you is to be able to be there to provide a solution to that problem.
Okay.
That's what people must understand. It's not that customers don't expect things to happen. And then you must be able to be, what I'd say, compassionate to the problem. Because travel is a very emotional thing. People get up, leave their homes. Some people, when they book flights from Port Harcourt to Abuja, anywhere in the country, they fly to Lagos. So you can imagine somebody that came with their family, they're traveling maybe for summer, they get to the airport, and then at the airport, they have these stories, or the airline had did this, or airline is not flying. You can imagine the emotional part of this whole thing. So you have to have that skill set to be able to manage them and say, oh, this is an unfortunate situation. Let's engage the airline. Let's find a solution. You know, if it gets so bad that you need to find them a hotel, It may not be you have to charge them at that time. Let them first of all settle down, and then you can provide a solution of how they will.
But that's additional cost. That's additional cost.
That additional cost, the airlines have those incentives or those provisions in the contracts of the flight. If the flight is canceled, it's supposed to provide accommodation and all those kind of things. So you have to be ready to get all that information from the airline and then provide it to the customer and ensure that it's done. So all of these things are part of what makes a brand successful, because the customers, one thing I learned very, very quickly is that if you are able to do this for your customers, the customers will be, most of them, 99% of them will speak very highly of you, will be loyal to you, because they say that if a problem happens with this company, they'll provide a solution. And that's what customers want.
Okay, good. So that's the ideal situation now, because we know, yes, you have a good product that meets the market. And then, of course, we do that, we would get results all right there. But we also know there were some assumptions that were made that did not quite pan out as you thought. For instance, you know a few things that might have happened in the market. For instance, you have packages that you're booking. I think you had something there around the World Cup, assumptions that were made. Those moments when you felt like, can I just throw in the towel? Can I just run away from the business?
Are you talking about Brazil?
Brazil.
About Brazil.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk Brazil.
So Brazil was an interesting thing, because at that time we got the official licensing partner, official travel partner. Because what happened in South Africa World Cup, FIFA gave the travel packaging rights to a company called Match Hospitality. And so we were signed with Match Hospitality as their official partner in Nigeria. So they made sure they had all the flights, all the domestic flights, because when you get to South Africa, matches are happening in different locations in the country. So we had to move passengers based on which location. So they had arranged all domestic travel. So what all we need to do was get our customer to Johannesburg, lodge.
Okay.
So it was easy. I mean, it was not in terms of logistics, but at least the plans or the ticket and everything was easy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but your video froze a bit.
So get to Brazil. Okay, so get to Brazil. To Brazil. The federations, what we call the federations, like the country federations, were not having the fact that FIFA had assigned those arrangements to a particular company. They wanted to now manage those arrangements themselves, which now caused a serious problem. Now you have to deal with these corrupt officials that work for the NFF and all these guys. So you have to get licensing agreements with them, licensing rights, which we signed, and we paid very good money for it. And so what we expected was that, okay, since we have the licensing rights, we have full control of the ticketing, which is the most important. People want to know your tickets. You can pack your tickets, my tickets with hotel, with the airline tickets, everything like that. And then we get to Brazil, because there was no more Match Hospitality to do all the domestic flights, you now have to make your own arrangements to book with the domestic airlines. Now, the crazy thing in Brazil was that domestic airlines were not even enough. They couldn't manage they didn't have enough aircrafts to move people. So what we did is that we hired our own aircraft, which we brought in to move people from Nigeria. So I had Airbus A340 and a very chartered flight, 6 hours from Lagos to Brazil. So everybody was very happy with that because, getting to Brazil at that time was very, very difficult. You had to go all the way to Morocco and then start flying 11 hours, or you had to go to Ethiopia. So it was a total mess, but just if you have a direct flight from Lagos to Sao Paulo, it was only 6 hours direct flight. So people really signed up to that. We got to Brazil, no problem with the flight from Lagos to Brazil. Get to Brazil on the night of just the night before when we had chartered other aircrafts to do the domestic flight, paid the money, everything. Upon getting to Brazil, I don't know, between the NFF and the local Brazilian authorities, they went in there. I don't know because what happened was, what I felt was that because we were hugely successful, I was getting calls like, we want more money, pay us more. They were trying to circumvent the whole. I was like, yo, I've already paid you your licensing thing. So, and I was now moving between, I went to Rio to go collect all the tickets, get the tickets, NFF didn't want to give me the ticket, I had to call FIFA. So it was while I was there, I got an email that the Brazilian authorities has denied our landing rights in Porto Alegre the next morning.
That's what
the Egyptian flights.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've never in my life 750 passengers. Wow. I've never, my heart almost collapsed. I almost died. So I was like, I started calling Nigeria, like, yo, we have to start getting flights. I mean, I have to not get on the flight, fly back, find an aircraft, fly back to Sao Paulo that night. They were almost attacking all our staff at the hotels. Wow. I got back to Sao Paulo about 1 a.m. in the morning. I started going to all the hotels and I explained everything. I said, listen, everybody should calm down. Look at the email I got from. Everybody should calm down. Look at the email. This is very important for a CEO. You have to go talk to your customers. Yeah. So I showed them the email. This is the email I just got at 6 p.m. I just got on the plane back from Rio. Got an email at 6 p.m. from the Brazilian authority. I don't know what happened between NFF and whether they set us up. And this is what I got. And I want to show the email, they couldn't believe it. I said, all we can do right now is that we're making arrangements from Nigeria to now start booking tickets on local flights, and we'll cover the cost. We'll try to recover our money from the charter company later, but we have to start pay, and we started scrambling. And we thought we'll just be ready to get to the airport by 8 a.m. and just get on any flight you can get on to the game. So we're able to manage and scramble people and get into the game. Not everybody made it. But what I learned in that whole experience was that, people were angry, some of them missed the match, but we were able to make up the other matches, and this situation was a little bit fixed later. But what I learned was customers, Nigerians are very, very good people. Wow. Don't underestimate the heart of Nigerians. So when I came back to Nigeria, I told every customer, if you not make the match, we'll refund you your money. So when we came back to Nigeria, brought everybody back, with the flight. So the flight between Sao Paulo and Lagos, there was no problem. I brought everybody back, and we started calling the customers. A lot of customers saying, you know what? I don't want the money back. The fact that you told us that, we showed us everything, that we don't want the money back. Some of them say, you know what? If you can give us a package later on, no problem. You are scheduled to lose about $2 million because of that issue we had. So we were able to, because the customers we are appreciative of the fact that we so that we did our best. We didn't lose as much. So I always tell people that, especially CEOs, that you have to have that connection with your customers. Your customers are your lifeline, and customer service, aside from everything that you do, whether it's you're selling tomatoes, you're selling water, you're selling anything, you have to be able to engage your customers. You have to be able to talk to your customers and be compassionate when they have issues, and you need to be able to provide solutions. And that's it.
Okay, that's good. That's all right. I just want to check something now because I know it wasn't. I know very well then at Waka now. Coming out of that position there, I know people then were trying. You have people that were stranded. I want to put myself in your shoes at that moment. How did it? Because I knew very well, because also I was at Wakanda at that time, and I'll say one thing very well, that the respect I had for you tripled after that event, because it was like a case you had employees thinking, are we going to shut down? Because it was so intense over there. So at that point there, didn't even cross your mind at any point in time to, you know what, just join the towel.
So I knew that the company reputation was under threat. So at that point, I tell you have to have the courage. You can't run. You cannot run. So that's why I went. And remember, I told you at the hotel, we had about five hotels in Sao Paulo. We lodged our customers. Each one of them was housing about maybe over 100 customers. And you could see the amount of courage it took me. I had to go to every hotel, and I called all the customers, and I brought to the lobby. I said, look at the email. We are paid for the flight. We are getting our approval. This just came in. We don't know where this is coming from. And this is when everybody calmed down. The matter of fact, they had been threatening to beat up our staff because they thought it was another Nigerian scam. Yeah, so what I did was I went and faced them. It's not, you can't run. You can't, because the worst thing you can do at that time is to run.
Wow.
You can't take off. So I went and faced them, and I said, I'm the CEO of this company. I'm the founder of this company. Here's the receipts. I even showed them invoice of payment, proof of payment that were paid the domestic, paid for the tickets, that this was not a scam. For the tickets I got, FIFA had given me a ticket because the NFF was selling tickets on the streets, and then we brought it back. I showed them tickets. Here are the tickets. So I started issuing tickets to them individually and said, here are your tickets. But tomorrow morning, we're all rushed to the airport. But I did not sleep for 4 days. I did not know a human being could do this. I did not sleep for 4 days. I was, we were working 24/7. So our staff over there were extremely stressed. The ones in Nigeria were extremely stressed. So that's why you're saying that I couldn't even imagine what was happening in Nigeria, because at that time everybody was all hands on deck. So but it ended up we were able to manage the situation.
Wow. So that's Brazil that nobody ever heard about. And as an entrepreneur, these moments will come. These moments will come. That's one thing I have learned. These moments will come. But I think I have a few questions from the chat group I can see here. They want to know what exactly has been your worst, how do I put it now, your worst experience as an entrepreneur. What has been the worst thing that has happened to your biggest failure as an entrepreneur?
I think the biggest failure or biggest, and I don't consider failure the way people consider failure. People look at failure as, because the way I look at it is, if you look at the way the world works, and I don't know if those of you that are spiritual, I don't believe that God puts you through anything that he doesn't want you to. If you have the right mindset, it's a learning experience. And it's not about whether you fail, it's how do you get up? Because when they fail, they stay down. If you fall, you stay down. If you fall, you stand up.
Wow.
And that is the attitude you have to have. A failure is not, and that's what I keep saying about Nigeria. Nigeria, when they say somebody failed, everybody starts laughing. Everybody abandons the person. This person, and I get that a lot from Nigeria. I say, look at these people. This person that failed was trying to do something. The audacity to even try
is there.
Takes a lot of courage. I don't respect people that don't even try. But all they do is talk, get on social media, oh, this person did this, person did that. What have you done? Have you even tried to solve the problem? But you can get on your phone, you can get on your mobile phone, you can get on social media, you can get on your calls and WhatsApp and everything, you're talking rubbish, but you have never tried anything. So I respect people that try. Okay, if you don't work, it doesn't work. What you should be asking yourself, what did I do wrong? There must be something you learned from that experience. And if you take that experience, you go to the next thing, or you want to go back and restart that whole process again and fix those issues that made you fail, I guarantee you find something that will be beneficial for your entire life, because you're going to learn something from those failures. Like I told you, the first company I did in Nigeria failed, but I picked up something. The first time I did in the US failed, but I picked up something. Pick your right partners. It also taught me about technology. So I picked up with two things from that process. Second process was when I did something in MTN, I learned one critical thing: build your own platform. No matter how long it takes you, build your own platform. So that is, but is it easy to build your own platform? No, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But most people run away from this thing because it's hard. How will I survive for 2 years? It's going to take me 2 years. How am I going to set up all these hotels around the country, driving from River, Port Harcourt, Aba, Moray, everybody? I go to the airline's office, they will keep me outside for 3 hours. The guy just say, what is this person talking? This tall man come to my office. I don't know what he's talking about. I'll keep going until the guy gives me what I want. So everything depends on how you build your mind. Are you going to quit or are you going to keep going?
That's right.
Quit. A lot of people quit. A lot of people want to say, oh, let me just sit in this office, get my little salary, collect my salary, and then if I want to make more money, do some side deals. But at least my salary is still coming every month. And you see that is the problem with the country. Nobody wants to take that. Then what happens is that when I see somebody doing it and it's successful, and they want to copy. Okay, this is how you did it, but they don't even understand the process of how that person came to that solution. Yeah. So they're going to copy the website, copy the formula or the whatever business. But the problem is that because you're not the one that is developing the concept,
that's right.
That is innovating, you always be behind. You always be behind.
True.
Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah.
Very, very true. Oh, so as an entrepreneur, you had lots of days. Which day would you say? Because I know you would always remember a particular day that you would be like, you know what, that was the lowest moment. That was like the worst day. Like, yes, things will happen. What day can you remember vividly? What that day would be?
You know, there's some days that have happened in business where you learn about. Nigeria is not an easy place to do business. I have great respect for Nigerian entrepreneurs. Anybody that's done business in Nigeria and made it, you have to give the person, a lot of kudos. It's not easy to do business in this country. There are a lot of mitigating factors. I'll give you an example. I don't know if we're still in Waka now when we defaulted on our BSP the first time, 2017, I want to believe. December 2017 or 2018. December 2017. And that was the reason why when we had an issue with our bank and they didn't pay, they held on to our BSP because they wanted to renew a guarantee and to bring the entire cash back in. Most people understand what I'm saying, but that was the lowest point. I had never, one thing I had prided myself was being able to meet our obligations, pay salaries on time, pay our suppliers on time, pay all those people on time. And that was the first time that we had missed a payment. And that was the most difficult thing for me. And it was just, when I look back on it now, it wasn't that a lack of trying, it was that there are macroeconomic issues in this country that make things very difficult. And those are things we also have to fix, because it takes a lot of courage to be able to fix things in this country. Nigeria is a country where people just let things be. Nobody's thinking about, there's no plan. So, this is how it is, and everybody just follows that thing. But most of the time, the fundamentals are not there. The monetary policies that needs to be fixed to ensure that there's success when you build, it's just like building a house, right? And then you do the foundation, but the foundation has problems. The foundation hasn't been properly done. If you keep on building on that house is going to eventually have cracks and going to fall.
Yeah.
Because the foundation is not right.
Hmm.
So one of the issues we're having in Nigeria is that and this is something I want to take on personally, that we have to fix the fundamental issues when it comes to doing business in Nigeria, because our government is not proactive in that area. So it's people like us that have been through the cycle of entrepreneurship, gone to the highest level where we've done private equity and all that kind of thing. We need to go in and fix these problems, because that's the only way Nigerian entrepreneurs can be successful. But you can build a business in Nigeria and you'll be swimming against the tide, because the macroeconomic issues and the money policy issues do not favor entrepreneurs. You want to go borrow money from the bank, they tell you to bring your collateral, and the interest rate is 25 to 30%, your margin is 5%. How does that work? The mismatch, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then you want to get investors to give you all kinds of funny terms and conditions that you can never meet. So the fundamentals are, yes, the business itself, the concept itself, there's nothing wrong with it. There's demand, you're solving the problem, but what's going to make that business suffer or want to make that business look like it's not successful is because of the fundamentals are wrong. So this is another area that we as entrepreneurs, we that leaders in this space have to fix.
I can imagine. So for instance, I would say ease of doing business in Nigeria, it's actually increased, because I remember over the years, of course, with the financial systems have become more reliable, transaction completion rates have increased. I remember back then when Wakanow just started, and I must actually state that Wakanow actually pioneered this whole e-business thing that we're looking at here, because those are Wakanow was like the first company to actually really do e-commerce very, very well at that point there. So with now that we're looking, I remember, am I right, sir?
So let me tell you, we were the first company. Let me give you the issue of InterSwitch. Okay. It's funny. Yeah. When I came back to Nigeria in 2007, and I was looking for, part of the business plan was to find an online payment gateway. There was the only one online payment gateway in the country that we found was InterSwitch had that what called WebPay. Mm-hmm. So I went to InterSwitch office. It was a small office, and they were actually selling recharge cards. They were selling recharge cards at InterSwitch office. InterSwitch you're seeing today, they were selling recharge cards. So I walked into the office. I asked the guy, his name was Charles Fedi. I said, well, you have an online payment gateway? He said, yes, but nobody has signed up to it. Nobody using it. I said, how much he said about it? I thought he said about '1 million naira or something like that. We paid for it. I said, but they hadn't completed the online payment gateway. They hadn't yet deployed it. Yeah. I said, no problem. Our engineers will work with you to finalize the project. So we actually worked with InterSwitch and the engineers, with our own engineers, to finalize what you're still seeing as the WebPay, which is what they use to power all this thing. So we helped them, finalize it. Even they couldn't even do decimals. They know in naira sometimes, because travel, you could do 100,000 naira, 90 kobo. That 90 kobo, they couldn't do it. So we had to help them implement decimals, like the decimal. So I remember all those things. So we actually were involved in building the entire ecosystem. We had to sign up about 25 banks and trying to see how we can make it more convenient for customers. If you're banking with First Bank, pay into our First Bank account. You don't have to transfer money, because transferring money that time was, you had to go to the bank, and it was really, so we created all these accounts on our platform. So that if you were banking with GTB, with Zenith Bank, with Diamond Bank, anybody at that time, you could pay into our Diamond Bank account or any bank that you bank with, and we receive the notification and we issue your ticket. So these are all. So what you're seeing today with all these Flutterwave, Paystack, all these guys, this didn't exist when we started. Wow. So we had to do all this.
Wow. So let's move into competition. So let's see. Wakanow is the largest, but there's still some other players. So how did you handle competition back then? How did you? Because you are the pioneers first of all, but then you also have some people coming in with big bucks. How did you handle them at some point? Then
I was never. If you're an entrepreneur, you anticipate competition. I remember I used to be an athlete, so that's what I lived, dreamed, ate competition. So competition was never my issue. That's why for me, the fundamentals had to be there. And what do I mean by that? That's why the customer service. See, customer loyalty is based on the fact that you meet and exceed their expectations. So even when we're number one, I always hop on the fact that you never rest on your laurels, not because you think that everybody's coming to you to buy. You start treating them like as if you're doing them a favor. And any staff any of my customer service staff that even got a wind that they were getting this arrogance, we would discipline them or eventually move them out, because why we're seeing the fact that these things we're anticipating that competition was going to come. So if you treat customers poorly, the minute they have somebody that's come into the market that can offer them the same thing you're offering them, maybe a little bit better customer service, they will switch. But if you give them that good customer service, even when you are so-called number one or you're the top of this thing, even when any competition comes, they will stick with you. And that is what people need to understand. You have to anticipate competition and plan ahead for it if you're number one.
Awesome. So you embrace competition, but then it's mostly about your own execution, that's where customer service comes in. So execution is key. Execution is key. That's it. Because people can come as well and they can steal your captions, they can steal your design, all of that. But as long as you've got the master plan and you have it all thought out there, they can't steal that, because that's in your mind. That's intellectual property. They can't steal that.
Exactly.
Can you hear that? What do you have in your head? What do you have in your head? Awesome, sir. So let's look at this now. So what advice would you give your younger self as an entrepreneur? Looking back with everything that you know now, with everything that you have gone through, what advice would you give your younger self? A young entrepreneur.
I don't believe. I wouldn't change anything.
Wow.
I wouldn't change anything.
Wow.
Because those things, whether good or bad, needed to happen for me to grow to where I am today. So I don't believe in going back, this shouldn't have happened to me, this shouldn't have happened to me. No. You have to learn from the experience. That's what's called experience. You have to have experiences. Everything cannot work. Exactly, man up. Everything cannot work perfect. Life is about ups and downs. Yeah. So I don't regret anything. I look back and say, one thing, whether good or bad, when you see those things next time, this is what happened back then. You anticipate. Like, so this person is not good for me. This person is good for me. This person. So you can now see that I've seen this script before. I've seen this whole thing before. So you can anticipate. I can even be here to tell people about what my experiences are, and that is what life is about. That's what life is about.
Wow. Yeah. So interesting to note. You built all of this. You built an empire. You built something so massive, but you're no longer CEO today. How? What are you up to these days now? But that's a massive. This
situation was not of my doing. Obviously, I know you've heard that we had a situation with the last investor that came in, and I don't know if you guys have seen what happened with Help Plus today and all the other investors, all the other platforms. So you see that is a fundamental problem. And that's a burning issue right now that we have to fix. So, but like I said, for me, I always look at the best thing I could ever have in my life is time. I've always been someone that's been innovative. I've always been someone that has been an entrepreneur to my core, and so I'm working on stuff. And I've always had I always have about 5 business plans in my head at any time. Just that I don't have enough time. So Wakana was something that started and grew so big, but took up so much of my time that I couldn't do other things I wanted to do. But since I've left, I've been, looking at doing other things, and I'm sure that by God's grace, in a short time, you guys will see some of those
We'll
things start
see.
to come out in the limelight. Yeah.
I can imagine, as in so much coming your way, definitely. And I have had the privilege of actually working with Obinna, and I can say I learned quite a whole lot. I actually learned a lot about business also from him, regarding his approach to business, being dogged in everything. And I'll say one thing I learned from you, sir, was attention to details. Because sincerely, success really is in the little details that you're saying. Customer service is actually paying attention to the fine details, understanding that every single customer counts. Well, like I said, I remember very well during Brazil, my respect from you went from here to here, because I was like, how is this man coping with this? Like, it was totally mind blowing. You guys had no idea. We were in Lagos, we were feeling the heat. Talk less of heat over there in.
I mean, imagine all the TV networks. Everybody was saying, "Wakana this, Wakana that."
Yeah.
And I took a lot of courage. I tell you, when I tell you, because I tell you, let me tell you people the story. I want to tell young people something.
Okay.
If you are honest, if you're an honest person,
okay,
if you do things the right way, don't steal people's money. No matter, don't be wishy-washy. Stay straight, stay focused. And let me tell you something. I remember a lady in Brazil, she was a government official. And when we were going through this crisis, and I was in the hotel, this woman saw how I was working. She took me to the NFA people and said, you people must, and she was ready to fight everybody to ensure that we got all the tickets and everything. This woman went to war for us. And it happened to be my auntie. I didn't even know she was. She happened to be my mom's friend. I didn't even know who she was. She was on the flight and she was just watching. And she saw me doing this battle, and she just called me like, my son, you are strong. And I said, I'm so. I'll be speaking to NFF, and she took me to the room with them, and she killed everything, and that's how we move. And so I tell people all the time is that people are watching. You may not know it, but people are watching.
Wow.
And you never know who's going to come to your rescue when you're in a time of trouble. I can tell you, every time I've gotten into trouble or gotten into a situation that was difficult, someone has always shown up, well, by divine intervention or whatever it is, because I keep my nose straight, I work hard, people see that we're putting everything that we have, and you will find people that will always come to save you or to help you get over a very difficult situation. That's what I tell people all the time. You have to create your own luck. And the way you create your own luck is by being honest, being hardworking, and making sure that you are dogged in your, and you must have that courage. When difficult times come, people want to run around and go and hide. No, you must face it head on. Like I said, all die and die. Only die once. So you as well just face to face and trying to come out.
Yeah, just come out of it.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You saw the World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying something. The World Cup, yeah.
No, but you saw what happened in the World Cup. So you saw the company was on tape. Yeah. So it was a tough time.
I can imagine. So as an entrepreneur, this is a take home for you guys. Failure is not an anchor. It would propel you. I will tell you, Brazil was enough to sink any company. It was crazy. But then I can see we came out stronger, because I think even after then, I would say one thing. I was in the room when there's this session that they had there was about damage control or something. There was just so much calm around everything. There was so much calm around, because when you're in the market with a product that makes sense, you just realize that the failures are just, you're learning how not to do that stuff. It's not really failure until you give in, until you give up, until you stop trying. Whatever it is, you just need to hang in there. Just stay there, stay focused on it. Because at the end of the day, people would stumble, people would talk. And the thing is, you might just understand that you get transformed with every single failure that you get or every single setback. So think about it today. The setback you're seeing, are you looking at it as a stumbling block, or is it a mountain you're thinking you cannot surmount, or do you see it as a stepping stone, something that would propel you into something even greater? Just think about it as an entrepreneur. There's so much that we need to understand. I think there's one more question I have here, and that says, I think that's from someone. It says, when it comes to partnership, what is the most important thing you look out for? I think this is very, very important there. What do you look out for in a partner?
Integrity.
What did you say?
Integrity.
Integrity. Honestly, good. So that is the biggest part.
If you don't have integrity, nothing. No matter how smart you are, no matter how smart the person is, no matter how he knows how to do whatever it is, if that person lacks integrity, it can never work.
It can never work.
People don't understand. When the money starts coming in, people start acting funny. That is the problem. Everything starts dying.
So true character shows itself when money comes.
Your character will show 10 times when there's money.
When there's money.
Whatever, if you're a thief, it will show 10 times when there's money. If you are dishonest, it will show 10 times when there's money.
So what we're saying here is,
for me, money has never been. Yes, people always try to measure success with money, but I tell people that money is as a result of value that you have created.
That's right.
So you must focus on creating that value. Money comes because you have created value. People will pay you for your service. People will pay you for your product because you have created something that they value and they feel that I need to have this service, I need to have this product. So your focus is not, yes, you can do your projection and everything like that, but your focus, and you should be what I call like almost infatuated with the service and the product that you're offering. If you're infatuated with that product, if you don't be infatuated with money, be infatuated with your service, be infatuated with your product. Now, if you're infatuated with those products, then money will come. That's money is just a piece of paper. Just a piece of paper, just a alert, pay you 100,000, 1 million. But they're paying you for something. And that's what you should be. That's what you should be obsessed about. Is this thing the right way? How can I improve on it? Is my customers happy? My customers have another problem I can solve for them because this product is giving me this solution, but it's not solving this other problem that my customers want. That is what you should be obsessed about.
That is it.
If you're obsessed with that you continue to grow. Yeah.
Wow. So money is an exchange for value. That's key things.
That's all.
Money is an exchange for value that you're looking at. As long as you're creating value, money will follow you. Then you also understand, he said some key things there. He says money shows character. Money will bring out those things money will bring out the vices. Let's just say that in that particular way. Money will bring out the vices. There's this quote I learned somewhere. It says, the thing that caused the downfall of a man followed him to the top. So when he said integrity, it just really struck me, because if you do not have integrity, yes, as you keep going up the ladder, it will just become revealed even more. That's why I think that's really profound what you said about integrity. Skills can be learned, but then integrity is actually your brain.
Is a character issue. And this is not just about partnering. When you talk about partnering, you talk about business partnerships, life partnerships, relationships, everything that you do in life. Even if you're choosing your husband, choosing your wife, choosing everybody, that is the core. If the person is not straightforward, if you cannot believe what the person is coming out of their mouth, then there's problem.
There's no point.
There's problem. I cannot be doing business with somebody that if I know that if I go to bed at night, the person will steal all the money from the company. How can I cannot be focused on on the product. I'll be now worried about whether the person is a thief. That's not what I want to be worried about.
And that's one big worry to carry. Exactly.
Big one.
Wow. It's been an insightful session for us here, insightful session, and I'll say I've learned a whole lot, so much insight in all of this. Lots of stories, like I said, untold stories. Stories about Brazil no one heard. No one heard about InterSwitch starting off selling recharge cards. That's a new one. But then these are basically the things that we'll get from Flawp Nights here. And I would say thank you very much, sir. I would say thank you very much, Obinna. It's been awesome sharing with you. I know it was hard tracking you down. At some point, we're like, I know this meeting is going to happen at 8 o'clock today. I'm like, yes, definitely. But I just have to constantly keep following up on him. And I'll say thank you very much, sir. I have learned a whole lot. I know everybody out there has also learned. And we'll take these your experiences here and we'll use it as a pedestal, a platform to propel us into our next idea. I'll say thank you very much, sir. I truly appreciate it.
I want to say something. For sure, when when part of the reason when you left Wakana, I want to say something about you. You are a very hardworking guy. Technology. I know you got married. I think you just got married before you left at that point, and I think that also part of what shaped your decision. Yeah. But one thing I always respect. I tell people all the young people all the time, is relationships. You could call me because you knew that there was no problem between us. It's a tell people all the time. Even if you're leaving an organization, go and make sure that talk to your boss, talk to your people, make sure you maintain that relationship, those good relationships. People always come and go, but you must make sure you maintain that bridge. That bridge must be there. And most young people don't say, I'm going to the next company, I'm going to this. Do not burn that bridge.
Don't burn
that bridge. So that's what I want to give advice to people. And well, for sure, I see that you're doing well. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. I always and I will say something. I've been blessed with courage and vision, what I call to go first in this generation. And my objective now and going forward is to ensure that we create the foundation and reshape the foundation for sustainable business growth for young entrepreneurs coming up. And I will be very happy if we are able to achieve that. That means that younger ones coming up will not face the same kind of challenges that we face going, because we're kind of pioneers in this whole e-commerce space. So it's an exciting time. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. I truly appreciate this, and very, very much. We'll definitely constantly be in touch. Definitely, sir. With new ideas coming up. There will be
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
thank you.
So for everyone there watching, yes, good night, sir. For everyone there watching, it's been awesome. It's been awesome so far. And we're just taking a little messages from our sponsors there. You see our major partners, Nairametrics. They have helped us a whole lot, pushing this board around. And I'll say big ups to Nairametrics, big ups to Chris. It's been so amazing. It's been so amazing what they're doing over there. And so you can see, we're going to be having Flawps every 2 weeks. The first season is here, and I have, like I said, 7 strong men in the industry, 7 people who have gone through a whole lot and are willing to share their experiences. 7 people from which we can learn, from which we can grow. And like I said, just stay tuned every fortnight, that's Thursdays, 8 p.m. to about 9 o'clock. We will definitely be demystifying failure. We will be sharing real life experiences. We will be revealing the untold stories about failure. So just for me and from everybody at Devland. And one more thing also too, just so you understand, are you working on an idea? Are you stuck? Do you need help with your business? We know the Flawps. We've heard them, we've experienced them. We're in the best position to help you fix them. You need to fix your business? Hit us up in the DM or something. Send us a message. Follow us, Devland NG. Sincerely, you will basically be mind blown what exactly that we have to offer. Thank you very much, everybody. From all of us here at Devland, good night and stay blessed. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.